Very soon, it will be Halloween here at Halfway There. On this evening, as Henry and Jane Pembroke prepare to welcome a mysterious guest into their home in search of answers and acceptance, the Reverend Gaumont sits at home enthralled to a pumpkin, slashing it into a jack-o'-lantern as a totem against the roaming dead at the end of the harvest season, when the veil between the worlds is most thin. It was believed that at this time of the year, one was especially likely to reach other realms, to contact the dead and speak with loved ones passed into the afterlife. Henry and Jane Pembroke will attempt such a connection on this October night in 1914, but in attempting to raise the spirit of the departed Sophie, they make themselves vulnerable to a flesh and blood devil. Annex, the continuing story of a peculiar bend in the avenue. Traffic goes north, traffic goes south. The streetcar runs between, and all we can do is try to keep up.
Halloween is nearly arrived, Tsubanski, and I've carved this here jack-o'-lantern, this grinning gentleman, to keep old custom. He'll go on the front porch with this candle to light his noggin. Wards off the evil and unwanted spirits. Perhaps by morning those Pembrokes and their lilacs will be warded off themselves. Maybe old Jack does the trick.
Perhaps, Reverend. My Mina, she does this carving herself. She says to me that it is for our protection, even here, that the dead walk and devils dance at this time of year.
Aye, they do at that, no doubt of that. You know, Otto, there is evil in the air this Halloween time.
The old country. It is sure to destroy itself.
Europe? No, I'm talking right here. Evil. Evil, evil, evil innuendo. How am I to enjoy this holiday, man?
Evil?
Innuendo. Evil talk about me, my family, the Gaumont name. By God, you think I myself invaded Belgium. It's those Pembrokes.
What do they say of you?
Why, Otto, they seek to link me to the death of their hapless Sophie. That was months ago. I regret bitterly that the Pembroke child happened to be strolling the swamp trail and happened upon us, you and I, Otto Tsubanski, as we finalized our plot to assassinate her sterling parents, to allow for the return of my land.
Maybe that the Sophie child heard nothing.
And maybe undead Sophie Pembroke will tap dance down Delaney tonight at midnight. No, she heard you and I, what we planned to do, what dark deeds we men went into the swamp to discuss. How she screamed when my eyes fell upon her, when she realized her presence had been noted, like a frightened bird, paralyzed for only a moment and then bolted.
But you wish to calm her.
Calm her? It's true enough that I meant her harm at your hands or my own. She couldn't be permitted to run up home to warn the old folks, and perhaps I did pursue, seeking to catch up, to stop her, to threaten her.
A match, Reverend?
That'll do. I wasn't going to be undone, you see, by little Sophie Pembroke. She's the one who panicked and stumbled and fell from that cliff. I merely extended a gracious arm. My hands, despite my own best intentions, are entirely clean.
The Reverend's complicity in the death of Sophie Pembroke and his presence at the scene of her fall have drawn the fury and vengeance of Sophie's father Henry and his neighbour and friend the newsman Tom Dawson. Just south on Delaney Road, they will look on as Jane relies on a hired medium, a clairvoyant to Harborview's bored social elite, to call Sophie home.
I'm glad you're here tonight, Tom. This is uncertain territory for a man such as myself. Jane's been so fragile since we lost Sophie. I felt like hell keeping our activities from my wife, but I just don't think she can handle any further strain. I suspect it's for the best.
It's the same with Nancy. She's been through so much in these past few months. I don't even want her to know how deep I've gotten into Reverend Gaumont's activities, which are prodigious. Let's face facts. There is no murder case against the good Reverend. Even if we had anything concrete, he owns the police and the courts. No. If we're going to bring him down, it'll be for irregularities attached to his woeful greed and venality. What won't that old vulture do in order to make more money? It's the only way to bring him down, the only way to make him hurt.
Prostitution and gambling rackets, narcotics, smuggling, God only knows. Some neighbor, eh?
It appears that we have brought our loved ones into the path of the devil himself. And who knows what'll be the end of it? Bring on the crystal ball.
It's the lack of answers, the lack of tangible evidence. All we've found are rumors, whisperings, suggestions, innuendos. Maybe a part of me hopes that this interest of Jane's will yield some answers. Maybe Sophie will speak to us.
Henry, do you really believe that your daughter will speak to us through the medium Ruby this very evening in this very room?
I don't know what to believe, Tom. Not anymore. Jane claims that the medium Ruby has told fortunes and contacted the dead for all the high society of Harborview. She came with impeccable references.
No doubt.
You doubt her?
I think it's nonsense, Hank. And I think you and Jane are setting yourselves up.
Under most circumstances, I'd agree with you, but Jane, she can't stand the rumors going around that Sophie took her own life. She can't bear it, and neither can I. Even if it's a trick, maybe it will help my wife. I don't know what else to do.
Henry, Tom, this is the medium Ruby. Henry, my husband, and Tom Dawson, our good neighbour and friend.
You've suffered a great loss in recent years. Doubting Thomas Dawson.
Show me he or she who hasn't.
I'm so very eager. Shall we begin? I'll dim the lights if you'll all get settled.
Sophie Pembroke. Sophie Pembroke. Are you here at the Lilac Farm, Sophie Pembroke? Are you here at the home of your parents, Henry and Jane Pembroke?
Sophie? Darling girl? Speak to Mother. Mother's here.
Sophie confessed to having thrown herself from the cliffs, having lost her reason over a failed love affair. You should have seen Jane and her windbag mister when I, or that is Sophie, recounted how she burned in hell because her father and Tom Dawson wouldn't let her rest. They're fixated on hanging, the kind reverend who only sought to help a desperate young lady in her final moments for a crime he did not commit. Every day they pry and prod, "Mother, the hellfire burns hotter." That was when old lady Pembroke keeled over and the husband asked me to leave.
Ruby, this is all of it, music to mine ears. Now Jane Pembroke is full and aware, much as she can be in her condition, of her husband's meddling in my business affairs, and I believe your performance has motivated her to halt Pembroke and Dawson, as to save Sophie from the flames. Oh, my.
You pay a fair wage for a fair night's work.
No jest. I owe you much. Those two were getting entirely too close. Sophie Pembroke is peanuts. They were getting too close to other interests. Much too close. That's his legacy. I'll see to it.
Whose legacy?
Never you mind. You'll leave Harborview now. It won't do for you to stay. The job is done.
Wait just a second. I got clients. I'm strictly professional, and I got parties and readings booked. I'm a society medium, and I tell you I'm not going anywhere.
May I remind you, dear Ruby, that you are in fact a two-bit con woman, and could just as easily end up being the ghost contacted at a seance if you don't kindly hop the very next train headed out of this city.
Don't need no Ouija to read that one, Rev. I got it. Don't worry. Just one more thing. I have to ask. Where did you get your ideas for that bloodthirsty play you gave me to work from? To use this seance thing against the Pembrokes?
I saw it in a picture show.
The picture show? Happy Halloween, Reverend.
And to you, my dear.
Has the Reverend Gaumont used the spirit of Halloween and occult flim-flam to halt Henry Pembroke and Tom Dawson's aggressive investigation into Gaumont's wide-ranging criminal activities in Harborview? Return again next week for Annex.